Come along with my mom and I as we explore King Tut's tomb and we actually see his mummy corpse and so much more in our 9-hour action-packed day in Luxor. My mom and I are headed to Luxor West Bank from our hotel that is located in the East Bank of Luxor, Egypt. We enjoyed our time so much at Hilton Luxor Resort that we didn't really do anything in Luxor aside from this full day 9-hour tour that you're about to see. Be sure to watch until the end so you can see us go to the Hatshepsut temple, see King Tut's tomb, see the amazing lunch that we had, and close out by seeing the temple of Habu. My mom is enjoying listening to the tour guide tell us information about the East Bank of Luxor that we're leaving and crossing the bridge over to West Bank. Aside from the tombs and temples over in West Bank is really a place for agriculture. So there's not a whole lot going on the West Bank besides going to see these temples, according to my tour guide. If you love watching travel vlogs like this and learning about personal finance, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you won't miss a video whenever I drop one. This channel is all about inspiring people to forge the financial journey that will allow them to live out their travel dreams, whether that is taking a weekend getaway to your dream destination or traveling long term like me. Now let's get back to exploring Luxor, Egypt. If you are planning a trip to Egypt, make sure you don't just visit Cairo or the Giza pyramids. Make sure you add Luxor to that list if you love learning about history like my mom and I. All the colorful beauty behind the history, you need Luxor to tell the full picture, because my mom and I went to the pyramids, we climbed inside the pyramids, but all the colorful walls and archaic writing, that is inside the temples and that is in Luxor. We pulled over on the side of the road so Muhammad could tell us more about the tombs in West Bank. Muhammad is showing my mom and I floods that happened in the West Bank that was impacting key monuments, ancient monuments, I should say, in Luxor, Egypt. And he is also explaining to us where we are standing 500 plus tombs that are of the nobles. And so it's not just about the Valley of the Kings and stuff like that. There's other tombs throughout Luxor. I had to do a voiceover at this part because this little dog was barking the entire time. Check out this little dog that was acting like he was really about to do something.
Okay. So we'll continue explanation in the Valley of the King, please. Okay.
So who were the nobles?
The nobles, it's all the high people in the society, the architect, the vizier, the all the high people in the society. We call them nobles. That's why they got the big number of the tombs. Okay. By the way, here we have 4 valleys: the West Bank, Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens, Valley of the Nobles, and Valley of the Workers. Wow. And the right hand side you can see beautiful temple belonged to Ramses II. He was the longest ruler, ruled Egypt in ancient Egyptian time. He ruled Egypt for 67 years and he lived for 94 years. And he had 100 wives, 200 kids,
Wow.
111 sons, and 93 daughters.
Oh my goodness.
It seems he was so busy during his life.
He was.
Who can handle 100 wives?
100.
I can handle 10, 20, but 100?
No,
It's really no.
one.
Yeah.
Cousin. Good morning, Queen.
Cousin? I don't remember seeing him at no cookout, but anyway, that is one of the taxes they use to get you to stop and buy something. We are making our way to the entrance of the Valley of the Kings. One thing I enjoyed before going outside to the Valley of the Kings was the inside 3D map. Like, it lists all 63 tombs, and this shows the depth of the burial of the tombs. Like, this is how far underground some of these tombs are. I really enjoyed seeing that visual of it. And it helped me to better understand why I was climbing down so many steps in some of the tombs that we went inside, because we had to get down to where the actual tomb was. I said tomb, but I meant temple. When we walk into the temple and walk down the stairs, that's us getting to the tomb, essentially. Make sure you have cash to enter the Valley of the Kings because the credit card machine often does not work. We did pay extra to ride the golf cart up to the entrance. And it was worth it, even though it was only like a minute ride, because the sun was beaming as it is probably every day. I did have an umbrella with me, and you'll see that later on in the video, and it came in handy. So make sure you have an umbrella and or a sun hat, and dress appropriately. Your girl was not dressed appropriately for this. My skirt was too short to be climbing up these stairs. I did not realize we were going to be climbing upstairs in the like going to Valley of the Kings. I was thinking it was more like flat level, but it was just too hot to have on something that was this form fitting. So don't be like me, do better. This landscape is beautiful and massive, and Muhammad is going to explain to us in one moment the Ramses and how much space they actually take up in the Valley of the
because
Kings.
he ruled for the 67 years, so he had different point of view. He said, "I am the greatest king ruled Egypt.
One with the 100 wives.
I should have two tombs here, not one. One for myself over there, and another one for my kids." That's why we see a proof, which is proof to us that he had 111 sons, because this is the biggest tomb in this valley, consists from 111 rooms.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm really serious. So this is like a big valley or big palace inside the mountain, consists from 111 rooms. That's proof to us that he had 111 sons.
But they not in the same. The kings are still not where the kids are, like you said earlier.
No, but he had different point of view, and they have to accept, because he considered himself also as a god.
Right.
Ramses II. So he said,
Right.
this is like a different point of view, and you have to respect it. So they respect it, and they follow the opinion of the king.
So he changed it to fit his.
Yes, he changed the law.
I get it from my mama, y'all. One thing about me is I'm gonna ask my questions on the tours, and so is my mama. What do you think about what do you think about Valley of the Kings so far?
I think it's really interesting, and I think it's crazy that they don't have the kings with the queens, but the queens are with the kids, as in life. Thank you. He said that too.
We are finally entering into a tomb. Now, this is a very steep tomb, and you can see that it's hot from the woman that is fanning, but we don't see all 111 rooms that Muhammad was explaining. We only see a portion. But take a look at this artwork in the lettering. Some of this stuff is language that is on these walls. This is from thousands of years ago, and it's still intact today. Like, no touch-ups were done. Well, from what we were told. So today we are exploring the tombs in Luxor. Y'all see I'm glistening because it's hot up in here, but not as hot as the pyramids when we were in Cairo. But it's forewarning y'all. Y'all gonna see me glistening through this whole video because it's hot in these tombs and it's sunny outside the tombs. Look at this engraved coffin text. Again, this is thousands of years old. We are still making our way down to the other part of the tomb, but this is just one of the coffins that we saw. The rooms inside the tomb sometimes are so big because furniture and treasures and gold and jewelry were placed in the tombs, because it was believed that the kings would need this in the afterlife, because they believe that after you die on earth that you have an afterlife and they will need these possessions. And the tombs themselves are so massive and steep because they wanted to throw off the thieves that would come to take these possessions. I am irritated because I'm trying to get a picture and it's hot, but it was believed that if you created vestibules and so many different corridors and turns, that the thieves wouldn't know where all the treasures were. But all this attention to detail thousands of years ago, and just the thought that went into let's create this as deep as possible. Now let me get my mom's thoughts after we exit the first tomb. So how was before that fly got to you, how was your experience inside the tombs?
Inside the tomb is very interesting, but very hot. Over 100 steps.
You counted?
Yes, I lost count at 100. It's interesting to see how big the tombs are, but the kings were not barely 4 foot, 5 foot tall, but the tombs were huge.
I didn't get that part.
I knew that part from reading before.
Oh my, you just a history person.
Not really, but I know that part.
Let's go to the next tomb, Mother.
Thank you.
Lead the way. Or the flies will lead the way. One thing about me and my mama, we gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna get on her nerve, but we gonna laugh about it. Now, see that umbrella? Make sure you have one when you come to Egypt. You know what else you need if you are coming to Egypt? My checklist. My checklist has everything you need to know to prepare for your trip, from visas, transportation tips, and so much more. So make sure you see the description box below or in the comment section. I will drop the link to get your free checklist. Now look at this beautiful tomb. Look at the color. Another tomb. This one is not as hot as the other one. Well, it may not look like it, but not as many stairs either. So check out this tomb. Almost down there. Long line. I was so in awe at this tomb because of all the artwork that was still intact all these years later, and you can see where the coffin was placed. And this tomb was not as steep as the others, so only a few stairs that you're seeing here, which is probably why it was not as hot in this tomb as other tombs. But look at the built-ins, I guess, HGTV style of, I'm sure, where stuff was placed, like furniture or jewelry was placed all these thousands of years ago. This is just so beautiful to me. Now, you cannot enter all the tombs in Valley of the Kings. You only can enter in 3, which we did, Ramses and a couple others, and then you have to pay extra to enter into King Tut, which we are about to do right now. Let me know in the comments why King Tut was so famous. Prior to me giving you the answer in a few minutes, let me know in the comments below, and you're going to hear the answer. So once you hear the answer, let me know if you already knew that or not. But I couldn't remember. And after reading the signage before entering his actual tomb, it's because he was one of the few kings that was found, like mummies that was found, that was fully intact with treasures. And this is his actual mummy corpse right here. Look at that. Kind of creepy, I know. King Tut became known in the modern world in 1922 when an archaeologist chiseled into the pretty much intact tomb. This means that the treasures and everything was there with King Tut. His body is so small. Well, his corpse is so small. Little surprised how small it is down here compared to the other tombs that I was at. Take a look at the carvings. Like, this stuff is thousands of years old. They ain't touched this up and it still look this good. This tomb, in my opinion, was the most preserved. Now, granted, we only been into 3 tombs outside of this, but it was the most intact. And it's probably because it was not rummaged until 1922. So just 100 years old this year. And that got me to thinking on how disrespectful I am being by being in here with the camera. And I mean, I don't feel too bad because I'm showing it to you all on YouTube. But we are in these tombs and pyramids that was meant to be left alone. And am I disrupting these kings from resting? That was one of the things I thought about after the fact. But clearly I wasn't too introspective because I was still posting it on YouTube. But let me know what you think in the comments below, because this was meant for them to go into the afterlife and never to be disturbed. Next up, we stopped at an alabaster shop to see how alabaster, like silverware pots, flower pots, and all that stuff was made. This is typical in Egypt. When you have a tour, they are going to stop at one of their friends' establishments to get you to buy something. And so we were already aware of this from being in Cairo, and when we stopped at the papyrus shops and I got ripped off, and you need to see that video. But yeah, this is just, it was beautiful stuff. We didn't buy anything, and we were like, let's get on to the next stop, which was Hatshepsut Temple. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but it was a little bit of tea behind it. So I'm gonna let my mom tell you what, recap what the tour guide told us, because I wasn't paying attention. At this point, I was hungry. So let my mama explain.
She was, when I say controlling, first of all, she was supposed to marry her half cousin. She said no. She married her half brother because that would give her more power, more control. So during the marriage, she let him be in control of the army, and she was in control of everything else. He was just like the front man. Every time he would do things for her, like build another this, build another that, she was like, no, I want more, I want more. He was like, okay. He would keep doing it. So finally he got tired of this after over 15 years. He finally told her, no. No, I am like God. You have to respect my wishes. Anyway, controlling. But by the time it was over with, he started destroying some of the things that he had built for her because he felt like he was tired of her bossing him around. But even though she was controlling to this man, when he was fed up, believe me, he was fed up. He started destroying some of the stuff that he had built for her. He even took her pictures off like the postings where they put the royalty. He took her face off the middle of it. He just started scraping it wherever he could to get rid of it. He even started tearing down part of the, I don't know if it's called temple or whatever they call it. He started destroying that. The bricks were tumbling. Anything that had her face on it, he got rid of it. He found a way to get rid of it. So you'll see like two people standing there. She's supposed to be in the middle. She's already gone for the picture. He's like, I'm done. You're done.
What was it like when you was walking in this temple?
First of all, big is not even the word. They had different levels. They call levels. They had different levels to go through because she wanted hers to be more amazing than anybody else's. And they had these big pillars you walk around. It felt like you were just, whew, you can vision how they must have lived. Huge. And then the detail to all like the letterings, I don't know what it's officially called, hieroglyphics. The lettering is so deep and engraved. I mean, just still here now how it was.
Now let's go take a look at all the things my mom was talking about. You see that straight ahead, that's the temple. The different levels my mom was talking about is 3 levels there. Similar to the Valley of the Kings, we are going to get in the golf cart to go a little closer to the entrance.
So I got this umbrella because the sun is not playing, but the view of this stuff is just like breathtaking. You really have to see it in person to see how massive this is.
That very entertaining story my mom told about Hatshepsut turned out to be somewhat false. Her husband did not deface her temple or try to erase her from history. It was actually her stepson. We found this out when we went to the National Museum in Cairo, and we learned so much more. And I left the story my mom told in the video just to show how important it is to research stuff after a tour guide tells you. It's a great way to start digging into history if you're interested, but always take it with a grain of salt and do your fact check. And this stuff is so old, nothing's going to be 100% right. But we were all into this story, and it turned out that her stepson did it. And then upon further digging, we found out that a lot of men wanted to erase her from history because she was one of the most successful pharaohs, male or female, ever. It is noted that she was the 2nd or 3rd actual female pharaoh, but she brought great wealth to Egypt. She left Egypt in a position better than what she received it in. So a little bit of hate and jealousy, but I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to leave the air and to, let you know it's important to do your little fact checks. Even fact check me. Tell me what you think about her story in the comments.
The color, it's really the original color, still preserved from 3,500 years ago.
Oh my
and show
gosh.
us how the Egyptian army and soldier practice every day to keep strong and to defend Egypt from any enemies who wanna invade Egypt or attack Egypt. Amun-Ra, which he pretend and to say that he's my father, as her father, blessing her, and the god Jehuti, the god of the real scribe, to scribe or to write how many years he will be living this life. So Hatshepsut is supposed to be here, but chiseled by her half brother, front of the god Horus, head of a Vulcan, body of a human, representing god Horus, the god also of afterlife.
So the falcon represented what?
Yeah.
The falcon part represented.
The Vulcan, it's representing god Horus. Vulcan head of body for human.
Okay.
Look at you asking questions, man. You such a good student.
Sorry?
I'm telling her she's such a good student.
She can run some. Don't say anything.
The face you make when you are in shock because you're starving. Now on to the food. This food in this restaurant was so good. Me and my mom were a little nervous in the car because we was going behind these back alleys and we like, where we going? I felt like it was seen out of a casino. But we arrived in this home restaurant. That's the chef. He was so nice and this food was so good. Isn't this home beautiful? We went to town on this chicken, the lentils, the bread, the potatoes, the naan, everything was just so good. And my mom was trying to convince him to come to Michigan and open up a restaurant. But we just was going in. And before we left, I had to be funny and point out to the nobles, shout out to my family. And let's get on to the last temple. The Habu temple is very interesting because it was built over centuries. Your girl Hatshepsut and Thutmose were known for enlarging this temple, but also Ramses. The main walls that you're going to see during this tour was done by Ramses, and it is depicting his wars against the Nubians and the sea people. So let's get into this history.
No, the hieroglyphic is different than ancient Egyptian
So you
history.
understand some of it.
Yes, I know some of it, yeah.
Okay.
Like the-
Okay. So this is a language. That's what I thought. Like the encryptions in here are wow. Wow. The carvings or encryptions, whatever you want to, it's so deep here than the rest of the places.
I will tell you the reason why making it so deep.
Yeah.
Some kings during his life, everyone respected him. After he passed away, some people they took his blocks because all this temple or most of the temple built in Egypt built from sandstone, and sandstone only exists in Edfu, which is about 100 kilometers south from here. So some kings they stole the blocks.
This is a language. Like all this art is language, and these deep carvings were done so people would not steal this material, basically. Very, very, very interesting.
Later, he became with a new idea. He said, "Hands, it's true. So I want to have different way to count the captives. Let's cut the tongues. You can see big pile of
I knew you were
tongues.
going to say
Oh, that's tongues?
Tongues, long tongues.
Wow.
So
Of the
besides
captives.
And then he said, "Oh, I regret. I did really something bad. I should cut."
So they cut the penises of the captives as represented here.
But to be honest, all this was a propaganda. Ancient Egyptian people warned this idiot. They used the captive more for pulling some heavy stone or building this huge temple, which
We spent a lot of time at the last temple, but I wanted to show you the main highlights for my mom and I. What did you think about our day in Luxor? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video on screen, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.